Thursday morning, June 2025. Marcus Reed approached 847 Oakmont Drive in his F250 work truck. The bed held $3,000 in construction materials for his foreclosure flip drywall. Lumber, PVC pipes, kitchen faucet, a chain-link fence blocked his entire driveway, 6 feet tall. 4 steel posts set in fresh concrete, padlocked shut. Sign read, "No parking HOA property." The fence sat 3 feet inside Marcus's property line per survey. Pinewood Estates HOA installed it without permission. At 8 a.m. that morning, Marcus called the HOA office. Voicemail. He paced the perimeter, confirmed the trespass. His $3,000 materials baked in the truck bed. Workday lost. Neighbor Nina Patel. Confirmed. HOA President Carol Brennan ordered it installed. Claimed Marcus's work truck violated commercial vehicle. Rules. Marcus checked bylaws section 4. Parking regulations. No commercial vehicle restrictions. No truck size limits. He rented a hydraulic fence puller from Blue Ridge Equipment. $180. For 24 hours, returned 45 minutes later, extracted all 4 posts in 20 minutes, loaded fence posts, padlock, and sign into his truck bed. Carol Brennan arrived during removal, filmed Marcus, called it HOA property destruction. Marcus informed. Her fence on his land? Illegal trespass. Carol drove away, threatening police action. Marcus pulled into his driveway, unloaded materials, resumed work. This is the story of how an HOA president's illegal fence triggered a lawsuit exposing $47,300 in embezzlement. 1 fence removed, 1 board dissolved. 1 president pleading guilty to fraud, $47,000 in restitution, all because property lines don't bend for HOA rules. But let me start from the beginning. Before we dive into, I'd love to know where you're listening from today. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons for more interesting stories just like this. Marcus Reed turns his F250 work truck onto Oakmont Drive. The bed loaded with $3,000 worth of construction materials, drywall sheets, lumber, PVC pipes, a new kitchen faucet still in its box. It's Thursday morning, June 2025, and the summer sun is already baking the asphalt. He's been at this for 18 months now, turning the foreclosed wreck at 847 Oakmont Drive into a showpiece. When he's done, it'll sell for $150,000 more than he paid at auction. That's the plan anyway. The house comes into view a 1995 ranch style. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,800 square feet on a half-acre corner lot. Structurally sound, but cosmetically trashed when he bought it. Outdated kitchen, ugly tile in the bathrooms, beige paint that hasn't been touched since the Clinton administration. He's been doing the work himself. Weekends and evenings, saving $50,000 in labor costs. As a licensed contractor with his own small business, he knows exactly what he's doing. But as he approaches his driveway, something's wrong. A chain-link fence blocks the entire entrance. 6 feet tall, professionally installed, padlocked shut. For steel posts driven deep into fresh concrete, still wet at the base. Orange plastic slats woven through the links for privacy. A laminated sign hangs in the center, flapping slightly in the breeze.
Parking?
Parking HOA property. Marcus slams on the brakes, tires screeching. He stares for 10 seconds, processing. He kills the engine, grabs his phone, steps out onto the gravel. The fence completely seals off his driveway and garage. There's no way to pull in, unload materials, access his property without going around the back through the neighbor's yard. They'd even let him. He walks the perimeter, eyes scanning. He's got the property survey memorized. This lot is clearly marked, surveyed when he closed on the foreclosure. He paces it off, 10 feet from the sidewalk to his property line. The fence sits 3 feet inside that line, on his property, not HOA, common area, not a right-of-way. His land. Marcus pulls out his phone, dials the Pinewood Estates HOA office, straight to voicemail. Thank you for calling Pinewood Estates HOA. Office hours are 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Please leave your name, member number, and a detailed message. ... It's Marcus Reed, 847 Oakmont Drive, he says, voice tight. There's a chain link fence blocking my entire driveway right now, stalled without my permission, on my private property. Call me immediately at 555 UO 132. This is trespassing. He hangs up, pocketing the phone. His work truck idles behind him, materials baking in the sun. $3,000 worth of supplies he can't unload. A full day of work already slipping away. Movement catches his eye. Nina Patel steps out from the house next door, her nurse's scrubs peeking from under an open cardigan. She's 35, single. Mom works night shifts at the hospital. They've talked a few times. She's sympathetic but scared of the HOA. Marcus, she says, glancing at the fence. The HOA put that up this morning. Around 8 a.m., Marcus turns to her. What? Yeah. Carol Brennan, she's the president. She was here with 2 guys in a work truck. They set it up fast. Said you're not allowed to use your driveway for commercial vehicles? Marcus blinks. Commercial vehicles? I'm a contractor. This is my work truck. I've been parking it here for 18 months. Nina shifts uncomfortably. Carol says it violates HOA rules. Trucks over a certain size aren't allowed. She told the crew to put the fence up until you comply. Marcus pulls up the HOA, bylaws on his phone. He keeps the PDF saved. He's read it cover to cover 3 times, thanks to Carol's endless violation notices. He scrolls through Section 4, parking regulations. Nothing. No mention of truck size limits. No commercial vehicle bans. Nothing, Nina, he says, holding up the phone. There's no rule about truck sizes. Section 4 just says no abandoned vehicles and recreational vehicles must be parked in designated areas. My truck's registered. Insured? Runs fine? It's legal. Nina glances at the fence, then back at her house. She said if you don't comply, they'll keep it up until you do. I'm sorry, Marcus. I tried to tell her this was crazy, but ... double quotes. Marcus stares at the fence. Glints in the sun. His truck bed sits loaded behind him. Materials he needs to unload today. Kitchen demo scheduled. Drywall to hang. Faucet to install. Full day of profit waiting. This fence is on his property, installed illegally, without notice, without permission. Trespassing. Property damage. He looks at Nina. You might want to go inside. Her eyes widen. Why? Because I'm about to tear that fence down, Marcus. Don't. Carol, will she fine you? Call the cops. Marcus meets her gaze, calm but firm. Carol just made a big mistake. He climbs back into his truck and drives off. 15 minutes later, Marcus pulls into Blue Ridge Equipment Rental. He knows the owner, Mike, another contractor who's been through HOA hell. Yo, Marcus, Mike says from behind the counter. What's up? Need the hydraulic fence puller? Portable one, with the pump and chains. Mike raises an eyebrow. What's going on? Mike just blocked my driveway with chain link. On my property. Mike whistles. No shit. Yeah. It's in Bay 3. You need the trailer? Nah. Bed mount. Marcus swipes his card, signs the rental agreement. 184 24 hours. He hooks up the puller hydraulic beast with a hand pump. Heavy-duty chains and extraction heads designed to rip steel posts out of concrete like weeds. Weighs 200 pounds. Contractors use it for fence removal jobs. Today, it's personal 40-5 minutes after discovering the fence. Marcus returns. He parks across the street, unhooks the puller, carries it to the fence. Nina watches from her kitchen window. A couple other neighbors peek from behind curtains. Marcus works methodically, slips the extraction head over the first post, wraps the chain, positions the puller. Starts pumping. Hydraulic pressure builds. Concrete cracks. The post groans, then pops free. 6 feet of steel yanked from the ground like a tooth. One down, he moves to the next post. Pump, crack, extract. 20 minutes later. All 4 posts are out. Chain link sections rolled up. Concrete chunks piled. On the grass, Marcus loads everything into his truck bed. The fence, the posts, the padlock, even the sign. Evidence. He steps back, wipes sweat from his forehead. Driveway clear, property accessible, order restored. Then he hears tires screech. A white Lexus SUV roars up, slams to a stop. Carol Brennan jumps out. 56 blonde bob. yoga pants, and a Pinewood Estates HOA president polo shirt stretched tight across her chest. Phone in hand, already filming. What do you think you're doing? She screams, striding toward him. That's HOA property. You destroyed HOA property. I'm calling the police. Marcus turns, calm as ever. 6'2", work boots caked in concrete. Dust. Forearms like steel cables from 20 years swinging hammers. This fence was on my property, he says, voice level. 3 feet inside my property line. You installed it without permission. That's trespassing and property damage. Carol thrusts her phone closer, filming his face. You're in violation of HOA rules. Commercial vehicles are banned. That monster truck of yours doesn't belong here. Marcus crosses his arms. Show me where. In the bylaws, it says that. Carol falters, eyes darting.
Nice.
It's community standards. Everyone knows. Trucks like that, lower property values. Not in the bylaws, Marcus says. Section 4. Parking regulations. No mention of commercial vehicles. No size limits. This fence was illegal. I removed it. If you put it back up, I'll remove it again, and next time, I'll file charges for trespassing. Carol's face reddens. She lowers her phone slightly. You just made a very big mistake, Mr. Reed. Marcus steps closer, towering over her, not threatening, just present. No, Carol, you. Did. She stares at him, breathing hard. Then she turns, marches back to her Lexus, and peels out, tires smoking. Marcus watches her go. Then he climbs into his truck, pulls into his driveway, and starts unloading materials. The fence is gone. The work resumes. The HOA thought they could bully me into compliance by blocking my driveway. They didn't know I owned a contracting business and the equipment to tear their fence down in under an hour, 18 months ago. I stood in the county courthouse, conference room, surrounded by real estate agents in suits and a few other flippers like me. Foreclosure auction day. January 2024. Cold as hell outside. But the room was packed with people looking for deals. The property came up on the screen. 847 Oakmont Drive, Pinewood Estates. 3-bed, 2-bath ranch, 1,800 square feet, built 1995. Starting bid, $250,000. I'd done my homework. Drove by the house twice. Walked the neighborhood. Pulled comps. The previous owners, a retired couple, had defaulted on their mortgage after medical bills piled up. Bank foreclosed. House sat empty for 6 months. It needed work. Kitchen was straight out of 1998. OK cabinets, laminate counters, chipped formica. Bathrooms had pink tile and rusted fixtures. Beige paint everywhere, scuffed baseboards, worn carpet, cosmetic stuff mostly, but structurally sound. Good roof, newer HVAC, solid foundation. Half-acre corner lot in a desirable neighborhood.
I can mark out you have the renovation.
$450,000 plus. I bid $285,000. Some agent in a Brooks Brothers suit went to $290,000. I countered at $295,000. He dropped out. Gavel came down. Mine, I single quotes deep and flipping. Houses as a side business for 8 years. Full-time, I ran a small contracting company, Marcus Reed Construction. 8 employees, steady commercial work, enough to cover the mortgage and truck payments. Flipping was profit, pure profit. I turned 3 houses in 5 years, averaging $120,000 each. This one would be my biggest yet. I closed 2 weeks later, paid cash from business profits. No financing hassles. Property surveyed, title clean, permits ready. Everything legal. The renovation plan was straightforward, 18 to 24 months, working weekends and evenings around my full-time job. I'd do most of the work myself. Demo, framing, drywall, tile, paint. Save 50 grand plus in labor. Sub out plumbing and electrical to licensed guys. Total renovation budget, $80,000. Sell for $460,000. Profit, $150,000 after fees. I filed all permits with the county that week. Demolition permit, electrical, plumbing, Everything by the book. Then Carol Brennan showed up. It was a week after closing. Saturday morning. I was outside pressure washing the siding when a white Lexus SUV pulled into my driveway. Carol stepped. Out mid-50s, blonde bob, yoga pants, HOA polo shirt, carrying a folder labeled welcome packet. Mr. Reed, she said, smiling like a realtor. Carol Brennan, Pinewood Estates, HOA president. Welcome to the neighborhood. I turned off the pressure washer, wiped my hands on my jeans. Thanks. Good to be here. She handed me the folder. This has everything you need to know. HOA bylaws, architectural guidelines, violation fee schedule, emergency contacts. I flipped through it. Standard HOA stuff. No loud noise after 10 p.m. keep. Lawn mowed. No parking RVs in driveways. Trash cans out of sight pickup day. Nothing about commercial vehicles. Nothing about renovation restrictions beyond exterior architectural review. Renovating the house, I said. Planning to flip it? Any restrictions I should know about? Carol's smile tightened slightly. You'll need to submit architectural review requests for any exterior changes. Paint colors, roofing, windows, that sort of thing. Got it. I'll submit. Plans. She lingered for a moment, looking at the house like she was appraising it. It's a nice property. Needs work, but nice bones. Yeah, that's why I bought it. She drove off. I went back to pressure washing. I should have known then. Something about the way she looked at the house. It's like she owned it. The escalation started. In March, I'd finished the exterior demo, stripped old paint, repaired siding, prepped for fresh coat. I wanted modern Gray Shore Wendy's urban putty. Looks sharp, sells houses. I submitted the architectural review request online. Color sample, house photos. Swatch attached. 3 days later, denial email from Carol. Gray is not on the approved color list. Approved colors are in Appendix C of the bylaws. Please select an approved color or appeal to the board. I checked the bylaws. Again. Appendix C. Empty. No approved color list. I called Sarah Kowalski, my business attorney. Handled my contracts, disputes, liens, sharp as a tack. Sarah, HOA just denied my paint color. Says it's not on approved list.
What?
There's no approved list, she laughed. Send me the denial and bylaws. I did. She called back 30 minutes later.
Nice.
No approved color list, Marcus. She's making it up. Repaint. Ignore her. I repainted gray. Looks incredible. Modern. Sells. 2 days later, violation notice taped to my front door. Violation. Unauthorized exterior paint color. Fine. $100 per day until corrected to approved color. Total due $300. I forwarded it to Sarah. She sent a cease and desist letter to the HOA on legal letterhead. Certified mail. The cited violation does not exist in the HOA bylaws. There is no approved color list. Cease issuance of invalid fines immediately or face legal action. Carol backed down. No more paint complaints. No apology. But the notices kept coming. April 2024. I had a permitted dumpster in the driveway. County approved. Construction debris only. Standard for renovations. Violation notice. Construction debris visible from street. Aesthetic violation. $50 day fine. Sarah sent another cease and desist. Carol dropped it. May 2024. My F250 work truck parked in my driveway overnight. Registered. Insured. Under 10,000 pounds. GVW. Violation notice. Unauthorized commercial vehicle parking. $1.75 per day. Fine. Sarah, no such rule exists. Cease and desist. Carol backed off June 2024. I replaced the front door stock oak. 6-panel matches neighborhood style. County permitted. Violation notice. Exterior modifications without architectural approval. $200 fine. I'd submitted the request. Carol never responded. Sarah handled it. Gone by fall 2024. I'd spent $8,000 on attorney fees. 6. Cease and desist. Letters every time. Carol retreated. But the notices never stopped. Like clockwork. Every 30 days, something new. Mailbox too close to street. Garage door left open during demo. Window screens damaged. All fabricated. All defeated legally. But it was death by 1,000 cuts. It's taking time, money, mental energy. Then Nina Patel told me the truth. Nina came over one Saturday in October, coffee in hand. "Marcus, can I talk? To you?" "Sure." She glanced around nervously. Carol wanted this house. What? The foreclosure. She planned to buy it herself. Flip it. Make a profit. She'd been telling everyone for months. She had an agent lined up, financing ready. Then you showed up at auction and outbid her. I laughed, seriously. Yeah, she's been telling people you're squatting, that you're ruining property values, that you're a slumlord. She wants you gone, wants you to give up and sell cheap so she can buy it. Suddenly it all made sense. Not about rules, about revenge. Petty, personal revenge. She uses the HOA like a weapon, Nina said. Anyone who challenges her gets notices until they comply or move. Most people just pay the fines or repaint or whatever. Easier than fighting. Not most people. Nina smiled weakly. Be careful. She's vindictive. By June 2025, I was exhausted. $15,000 in attorney fees. Countless hours responding to bogus violations. Renovations stretched from 18 months to 24 because I was spending weekends in legal battles instead of working on the house top kitchen half done. Master bath demoed but not rettled. Paint touched up a dozen times because Carol kept finding new violations, but I wasn't giving up. Too stubborn. And I was right. Legally, morally, factually right. I'd sunk $285,000 into the house, another $80,000 in materials, $15,000 in legal fees. No way was I selling at a loss to some HOA tyrant. Then came the fence. Thursday morning, chain link across my driveway, on my property, padlocked shut. That was different. Not a fine, not a notice. Physical trespassing. Property invasion. Blocking my access. Costing me work. Real money? That was the final straw. Carol had been escalating for 18 months. Legal letters stopped her every time. But blocking my driveway? That's not harassment. That's illegal. I decided right then. No more legal letters. No more negotiating. No more playing nice. I was handling this myself. I'd spent 18 months fighting bogus HOA violations. But when Carol Brennan blocked my driveway with a fence, I decided I was done playing nice. Carol's perspective, Friday morning. Carol Brennan paces her living room, phone pressed to her ear. The white Lexus SUV sits in the driveway, still dusty. From yesterday's confrontation, her hands shake with fury. David, Lisa, Tom emergency board meeting, my house. 10 a.m. Marcus Reed destroyed HOA property. We need to act now. She hangs up, pours herself a third cup of coffee. Black, no sugar. Her husband Tom sits at the kitchen table, reading the newspaper, pretending not to notice. The board members arrive within 20 minutes. David Chang, the accountant, 42 button-down shirt and khakis, carrying a legal pad. Lisa Murphy, 68, retired teacher, sensible shoes and cardigan. Tom Brennan, her husband, 58, retired cop, folding his newspaper with a sigh. They sit around the living room coffee table. Carol stands, hands on hips. Marcus Reed destroyed HOA property yesterday, she says, voice sharp. Ripped out our chain link fence like it was nothing. Used some kind of heavy equipment. I have it all on video. Want him fined. Heavy fines. And I want him sued. David adjusts his glasses, opens his legal pad. Carol, was the fence on HOA property or his property? Carol waves a hand. It was ... It was on the border. Close enough. David frowns. Did you have it surveyed? It was the right spot for enforcement. He has that monster truck parked in his driveway. Commercial vehicle. Lowers property values. David leans forward. If it was on his property, we can't fine him for removing it. That's trespassing on our part. Carol cuts him off. He's in violation. That truck doesn't belong here. Where in the bylaws does it say commercial vehicles are banned? David asks. It's implied, Carol snaps. Community standards. Everyone knows. Lisa shifts uncomfortably. Tom stares at the floor. Carol paces. I'm proposing a $500 per day fine until Marcus removes that truck from the property. Effective immediately. Tom clears his throat. I'll second. Lisa nods quickly. Yes. David hesitates. I don't think we have legal grounds. Carol glares. All in favor? Tom and Lisa raise hands. David keeps his down. Motion passes, Carol says. 3-0, 1 abstention. I'll send the violation notice today. David closes his legal pad. Carol, you should talk to an attorney. Don't tell me how to run this HOA, she snaps. The meeting ends. David leaves, shaking his head. Lisa murmurs something about baking cookies. Tom stays silent. Marcus's perspective that afternoon. Marcus steps out of the house, sawdust on his jeans, and finds a bright yellow violation notice taped to his front door. Violation. Unauthorized commercial vehicle parked on residential property. Fine, $500 per day until vehicle removed. Total fines to date, $500. Pinewood Estates, HOA. He reads it twice, then laughs it deep. Genuine laugh that echoes down the empty street. He pulls out his phone, dials Sarah Kowalski. Sarah, they just taped a violation notice to my door. $500 a day for parking my work truck in my own driveway. Sarah snorts on the other end. That's not enforceable. There's no commercial vehicle restriction in the bylaws. Ignore it. What do I do if they try to collect? We fight it in court. They lose. They pay your legal fees. Standard. Marcus hangs up, rips the notice off the door, and takes a photo for evidence. File number 7 in his HOA warbinder. He goes back to work. Kitchen cabinets arriving tomorrow. Won't let Carol derail the schedule. Carol's perspective Saturday morning. Carol sits in her home office, phone book open to towing companies. She's not done. Marcus thinks he won. She'll show him. She calls Blue Ridge Towing. Hi, this is Carol Brennan with Pinewood Estates HOA, she says, voice authoritative. I need a truck towed from 847 Oakmont Drive. It's in violation of HOA rules. The dispatcher hesitates. Do you have authorization from the property owner? I'm HOA president. I have authority. I need written authorization from the owner or a court order, ma'am. Carol grips the phone tighter. This is a violation. Commercial truck parked illegally. Sorry, ma'am. Company policy. Owner authorization or court order. Fine. Carol slams the phone down. I'll handle it myself. She turns to Tom in the kitchen. Get your keys. We're going to Marcus Reed's house. Tom looks up from his coffee. Carol, now Tom. Marcus's perspective Saturday afternoon. Marcus is in the garage cutting plywood for kitchen cabinets. Table. Saw humming. Dust flying. Radio playing classic rock. He hears tires crunch on gravel. Then a car door slam. Looks out. Carol's white Lexus parked across his entire driveway, blocking him in. Hazard lights flashing. Carol jumps out, marches toward the garage. Tom follows slowly, hands in pockets. Marcus kills the saw, steps out, wipes his hands. 6'2" to Carol's 5'4". Work boots to her yoga pants. Move your car, he says, voice flat. Carol crosses her arms. Not until you remove that truck. My truck's legally parked on my property. Move your car. Tom clears his throat. Maybe we should know, Carol snaps. He needs to learn he can't. Just do whatever he wants here. Marcus pulls out his phone. I'm calling the police. You're blocking my driveway. That's illegal. Carol laughs. Go ahead. My husband was a cop for 25 years. They won't do anything. Marcus dials 911 anyway. 911. What's your emergency? Hi, Marcus Reed at 847 Oakmont Drive. Someone's parked across my entire driveway, blocking access. White Lexus Virginia plate. Tango Oscar Foxtrot 247. Units are en route. Stay on the line. Carol smirks. Tom looks at his shoes. Carol's perspective. 15 minutes feels like 15 hours. Carol stands in the driveway, arms crossed, refusing to move. Marcus leans against his garage door, phone still at his ear. Tom paces awkwardly by the Lexus. Sheriff's cruiser pulls up. Two deputies, Martinez and Reynolds. Mid-40s, no nonsense. Martinez approaches. Afternoon, folks. What's the situation? Carol jumps in. Officer, this man's violating HOA rules. Commercial truck and residential driveway. I'm HOA president. Deputy Martinez holds up a hand. Ma'am, is that your vehicle blocking the driveway? Carol blinks. Well, you're parked across the entire driveway entrance. It's obstruction of access. You need to move. A civil matter, Martinez says. HOA rules are civil. Blocking a residential driveway is criminal. Move your vehicle, or I'll write you a citation. Carol's face burns red. Neighbors watch from windows. Nina Patel stands on her porch, arms crossed. Fine, Carol spits. She stomps to the Lexus, climbs in, peels out. Deputy Reynolds to Marcus. You good? Yeah, thanks. Deputies drive off. Carol rolls down her window from down the street. This isn't over, Mr. Reed. Marcus calls after her, calm. Yeah, it is. Stay off my property. Marcus's perspective. Marcus stands in his driveway, heart pounding but steady. That was escalation. Not notices, not fines. Physical confrontation. Carol won't stop. She'll keep coming. Tow trucks next time. Leans. Court orders she doesn't have authority for. He dials Sarah. Sarah, she just parked across my entire driveway. Cops had to make her move. Beat. That's obstruction. Do you want to countersue? I want to sue the HOA for harassment. All of it. 18 months of this crap. Sarah exhales. We can do that. Harassment, illegal fines, trespassing with the fence. Solid case, but it'll be expensive. Legal fees, court costs, discovery, 20 grand minimum. I don't care. She needs to be stopped. Fair enough. Let me draft the complaint. We'll file next week. Marcus hangs up, looks at his house. Kitchen. Cabinets wait, profit waits. Freedom waits. Carol thought she could escalate, block his driveway, intimidate him into submission. She made one critical mistake. Marcus had a lawyer, evidence, and nothing to lose. Carol thought she could intimidate me by blocking my driveway and threatening fines. She made one critical mistake. I had a lawyer, evidence, and nothing to lose. Monday morning, I sit across from Sarah Kowalski in her law office. The smell of fresh coffee and printer ink thick in the air. Her desk is organized chaos, legal pads, case files, a half-eaten bagel. Sarah's in her early 40s, sharp suit, sharper mind. She's handled my business contracts for 5 years, seen me through payment disputes and lean fights. Drafting war, she slides a thick stack of papers across the desk. Complaints ready. Marcus Reed v. Pinewood Estates HOA. 18 counts. Harassment. Illegal fines. Trespassing. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. Abuse of process. The fence installation alone gives us trespass to chattels and property damage. I flip through it. 35 pages. Single-spaced, dates, times, violation notices quoted verbatim. Photos of the fence. Police report from Saturday's driveway blockade. Property survey showing the fence 3 feet onto my land. See Sandesist letters ignored. It's airtight. Lawsuit gonna be expensive, Sarah says, leaning back. Discovery, depositions, motions, practice, trial, if they don't settle. Legal fees. Could hit 20, 30,000? I don't care, I say. Carol needs to be stopped. And other homeowners need to see she can be challenged. People have been living in fear of her for years. Sarah nods. Understood. Sign here, and initial page 17. I sign. She staples the originals, slides them into a manila envelope. Filed by noon. Serviced by certified mail and process server. They have 21 days to respond. We shake hands. I walk out. Feeling lighter. First time in 18 months. Wednesday afternoon, Carol Brennan rips open the certified mail envelope, her face draining of color. She's in her home office, HOA polo shirt untucked, coffee cold on the desk. Summons and complaint. You have been sued. She speed dials David Chang. Emergency board meeting. My house. Now, he's suing us. He's suing me. David arrives first. Khakis and button-down legal pad in hand. Elisa Murphy next. Cardigan in sensible shoes, clutching her purse. Tom lingers in the kitchen, avoiding eye. Contact. Carol waves the complaint like a bloody shirt.
Office reads, suing the HOA. Harassment. Trespassing. He wants $50,000. This is war.
David scans the complaint, glasses slipping down his nose. He's suing the HOA, Carol, not you personally, which means the HOA pays for defense. So we use HOA funds to hire a lawyer, Carol asks. That's what liability insurance is for, David. He says, but, ... if we lose, damages come from member dues. Special assessment. Lisa gasps. How much could we lose? David flips pages. Tens of thousands. Be 6 figures with legal fees. Attorney fees alone, Tom interrupts. This is ridiculous. We were just enforcing rules. David looks up. We installed a fence on his property without permission. Trespassing. We issued fines for violations not in the bylaws. That's illegal. His evidence is bulletproof. Carol slams the complaint down. He's the problem. That truck. The construction mess. David closes the file. Legally, we're the problem. Friday morning, the HOA's insurance company assigns Robert Vance, corporate attorney, HOA specialist. 55 gray suit, bulldog face. He meets the board at Carol's dining room table. Vance skims the complaint, then looks up. You installed a fence on his property without permission. Carol straightens. It was on the border. Was it surveyed? Well, no, but Vance flips to photos. Steel posts and fresh concrete, 3 feet inside his property line per survey. You trespassed. Carol bristles. He was violating community standards. And you issued fines for violations not in the bylaws? Vance continues. His truck lowers. Property values. That's not a legal basis for fines. Vance closes the file. We're in a weak position. My advice, settle. Pay his legal fees. Apologize. Drop all fines. Minimal damage. Carol's voice rises. Settle. No. We fight this. Vance shrugs. If we fight and lose, board members are personally liable. All of you. David swallows hard. Lisa looks ill. Tom stares at the table. Carol's alone. Monday, Sarah files discovery requests. Court order demands all HOA financial records, board meeting minutes, violation notices, emails, texts for past 5 years. HOA must comply within 30 days. David Chang gets the order. As board accountant, it's his job to compile. He starts. That night, alone in his home office, Excel spreadsheets open, bank statements piled high, he's nervous. He's known for months something was wrong. Numbers not adding up. But he ignored it. Told himself he was too busy. Pinewood Estates HOA collects $200,000. A year in dues 50 properties at $4,000 each. Clean revenue. But expenditures show $240,000 annually. Where's the extra 40 grand coming from? He digs deeper. Expense reports. All signed by Carol Brennan. Administrative fees $1,200 a month to CM Consulting, Carol's initials. Property management services $1,500 a month to Prestige Landscape Solutions. David Googles it. No such company. Community event consulting $800 a month to Pinewood Events LLC. No website. No records. David's stomach drops. He's seen the pattern for months, but buried his head. Now Marcus Reed's lawsuit has dragged it into the light. Carol's. Been embezzling. David sits at his kitchen table at 11 p.m., staring at spreadsheets. His wife Jennifer walks in, robe tied tight. You're still working? David doesn't look up. Carol's been stealing HOA funds. For years. Jennifer freezes. How much? At least 40,000. Maybe more. Fake invoices. Shell companies. All signed. By her, Jennifer sits. You have to report it. David rubs his temples. If I do, the HOA collapses. special assessments, lawsuits. We could all be liable. I could lose everything. You're the accountant, David. You signed off on these reports? Jennifer's voice hardens. You don't report it, you're complicit. David stares at the numbers. Trapped. Report Carol. Face board liability. Stay quiet. Become accomplice to felony. He picks up his phone. My phone rings at 9:47 p.m. Sarah Kowalski. You're not going to believe what just landed in my inbox, she says. What? 40 grand? Carol Brennan's been embezzling HOA funds. One of the board members just turned whistleblower. Sent me everything, bank statements, fake invoices, the works. I sit up straight. Embezzling. Companies with her initials. Administrative fees to nowhere. Crystal clear paper trail. So what do we do? Sarah's voice turned strategic. Tomorrow morning, I request emergency meeting with HOA board. Present evidence. Demand they remove Carol as president, cooperate with audit, settle your lawsuit. If they do, we pause. District attorney gets a criminal referral. I lean back, stunned. 18 months of harassment, and I uncover grand larceny. You sued the HOA for harassment, Sarah says. Instead, you just found their Achilles heel. Friday afternoon, Sarah requests emergency HOA board meeting. Court order forces compliance? Within 24 hours. She deliberately schedules it while Carol's out of town visiting family in Florida. I attend as plaintiff. David, Lisa, and Tom sit at the conference table in Sarah's office. No Carol. Sarah lays out the evidence like a prosecutor. Bank statements, invoices, spreadsheets highlighting fake payments. Tom Brennan explodes first. This is a lie. Carol would. Never. Sarah slides bank records across. Documents don't lie. Bank statements, invoices signed by Carol Brennan, payments to shell companies. Your accountant can verify. David speaks quietly. It's true. I've reviewed everything.
Husband?
Embezzling. Tom wheels on him. You're accusing my wife of I'm stating facts, David says. The money's gone. Carol signed every invoice. She had sole check writing authority. Silence. Sarah leans forward. Here's what happens next. You remove Carol as president immediately. Cooperate with independent audit. Repay Marcus's legal fees and damages. You settle your lawsuit, or I walk this across the street to the DA and file criminal charges. Lisa Murphy whispers. How do we remove Carol? She'll fight it. Emergency vote, Sarah says. 3 of 4. Board members present. Quorum. David straightens. I vote to remove Carol Brennan as HOA president, effective immediately. Lisa hesitates then. I second. Tom, I'm abstaining. She's my wife. Sarah smiles. Motion passes. 2-0, 1 abstention. Carol Brennan is no longer HOA president. Sunday evening, Carol walks through her front door, suntanned, pulling a rolling suitcase. Tom waits in the kitchen, face like stone. The board voted you out, he says. Marcus's. Attorney is evidence you've been embezzling. Carol drops her bag. That's insane. I haven't embezzled anything. They have bank records. Invoices you signed. Payments to companies that don't exist. Those were legitimate expenses. For what? Carol freezes. Tom steps closer. Oh my God, you did it. You actually stole from the HOA. I was owed that money. Carol shouts, I work full-time running this place. It's compensation. You didn't declare compensation. Funneled it through fake companies. Tom's voice breaks. That's embezzlement, Carol. That's a felony. Carol sinks into a chair, head in hands. Her empire, built on violation notices and control, crumbles. I sued the HOA for harassment. Instead, I uncovered embezzlement. Carol Brennan thought she was untouchable. But her own accountant just handed me the evidence to destroy her. Marcus's. Perspective. The week after David's whistleblower bombshell, the independent auditor arrives. Hired by the HOA's liability insurance, a forensic accountant named Elizabeth Warren, mid-40s. Nonsense, armed with laptops and ledgers. She spends 3 days locked in the HOA office, tearing through 5 years of financial records. Friday morning, her report lands in Sarah Kowalski's inbox. I meet Sarah at her office an hour later. $47,300, Sarah says, sliding the printed report across her desk. Embezzled over 3 years, fake invoices to shell companies, administrative fees to CM Consulting, Carol Marie, landscape consulting to non-existent firms, all signed by Carol Brennan. I whistle low. That's grand larceny. Clean paper. Trail, bank records, canceled checks, no legitimate vendors. Ironclad. The HOA board receives copies that afternoon. Insurance company responds within hours. Policy excludes criminal acts. Carol Brennan committed fraud. No coverage for restitution or defense. HOA must pursue independently. Carol's personally dropped. No safety net. Carol's perspective. Carol sits at her kitchen table staring at the audit report. $47,000 in red ink. Her hands shake. Tom stands by the sink, arms crossed, face like granite. They can't prove anything, Carol whispers. Tom slides the bank statement across. Your signature? Every check. CM Consulting. Your initials. I deserved compensation. You stole, Tom says flatly. From neighbors, from the HOA you ran. Carol's phone buzzes. David Chang's email sent to all 50 HOA households. Subject, important HOA update, Carol Brennan removed as president. Independent audit discovered $47,300 embezzled over 3 years. Board cooperating fully with authorities. Emergency meeting scheduled. Carol Stingle quotes, 50 households, every neighbor. Her empire exposed. Marcus's perspective, my phone lights up with texts. Neighborhood Facebook group explodes. Nina Patel, I owe you an apology. You were right. About her all along, me, you were scared? I get it. She had power. Nina, not anymore. Mr. Ortega retired, 72. We paid $4,000 year dues. She stole from our retirement funds. Jennifer Chang, David feels horrible. You should have caught it sooner. Group admin. Emergency HOA meeting tomorrow, 7 p.m., clubhouse. ALL members expected. I scroll through years of comments. Pattern emerges. Carol. Targeted single moms, immigrants, elderly. Find a widow $2,000 for unkempt landscaping after her husband died. Harassment campaigned against a Latino family for too many cars. Everyone paid or moved. I wasn't her first victim, just the first who fought back. Carol's perspective. Carol doesn't leave the house. Curtains drawn, Deliveroo for meals. Neighbors. Glare through windows. One morning, she finds her mailbox spray-painted thief in red. No suspects. Tom moves his clothes to the guest bedroom. Conversations drop to monosyllables. You're a retired cop, Carol says one night. Your wife arrested? Tom doesn't look up from his phone. You embarrassed me? You stole from people I know? Carol cries, alone in the master bedroom. HOA polo shirt crumpled on the floor. Marcus's perspective. Monday. Lisa Murphy calls the sheriff's office. Police report. Filed. County DA assigns Detective Linda Ramirez, white-collar crimes unit. Is Latina, 40s, iron gray streak in her hair. She interviews the board first. David hands over originals. Lisa testifies. Tom stays silent. Wednesday, she sits at my kitchen table. Audit report open. You're the one who filed the lawsuit that uncovered this, Ramirez asks. I wanted the HOA to stop harassing me. Fence in. My driveway fake fines? Didn't expect embezzlement? She nods. You did us a favor. Bank records, fake vendors, her signature everywhere. Solid case. Felony embezzlement, fraud, possibly tax evasion. She's cooperating? Ramirez smiles thinly. Her attorney called. Wants a deal. Carol's perspective. Greg Stillman sits across from Carol in his corner office. Criminal defense attorney. Gold cufflinks. $500 an hour. He reviews the evidence binder. Bank records. Invoices with your signature. Shell companies. Registered to your address. Bad, Carol. Very bad. I can explain. Don't. Stillman's voice cuts like glass. Not to me. Not to police. Here's reality. This goes to trial. You lose. Embezzlement, fraud, tax evasion, 5 to 10 years, state prison minimum. Carol pales, prison, Unless we negotiate, he leans forward. Plea to reduced charge. Misdemeanor fraud. Full restitution 47. Grant. 2 years probation. No jail time. A plea? Not admitting guilt. You did this, Carol. Stillman slides photos across. Your neighbors paid $4,000 a year. You stole their vacation money, landscaping budgets, emergency funds. Carol's eyes fill. How did this happen? You got greedy, Stillman says. Started small. Administrative fees. Snowballed. Now it's over. Tom's perspective that night, Tom and Carol sit at opposite ends of the kitchen table. Coffee cold. Silence. Thick. How long? Tom asks. What? How long were you stealing? Carol looks away. I wasn't stealing. I was compensating myself. For what? Tom's voice rises. You're retired. HOA presidency is volunteer. I worked full-time. Violation notices. Meetings, enforcement, that's the job. Tom slams his palm down. You ran for president. No one forced you. I deserve to be paid. Then propose a salary. Vote on it. Budget it. Not fake invoices. Carol sobs. I just wanted respect. To be important. You destroyed that. Tom stands. You destroyed us. He walks upstairs. Door slams. Marcus's perspective Friday. Sarah calls me to her office. Settlement offers on the table. DA's plea to Carol. Repay $47,300. Misdemeanor fraud guilty plea. 2 years probation. Permanent HOA ban. And my lawsuit? HOA offers $15,000 for your legal fees. Written apology. All fines dismissed. Lifetime restraining order. Carol can't contact you. I lean back. Trial would get more. Punitive damages. Sarah nods. But 6 more months. More fees. Depositions. Stress. I want it over. Take the settlement. Done. Saturday night, community clubhouse packed. Standing room only. 50 households. Furious David Chang at podium. Projector showing audit slides. Red ink everywhere. $47,300 missing. Fake invoices. Shell companies. Shouts erupt. We trusted her. She stole from us. How did this happen? David raises hands. I take responsibility. Accountant. Should have caught it. Mr. Ortega stands. What now? Carol's prosecuted. Full restitution. New board election tonight. Bylaws rewrite. Hands shoot up. Vote unanimous. Dissolve current board. New slate elected. Jim Ramirez, engineer, 40s. Nina Patel, nurse. Mr. Ortega, retiree. Priorities announced. Transparency. Financial reports. Online monthly. Violations need full board vote. No more one-woman rule. Carol's perspective. Carol walks into the clubhouse. Her attorney begged her to stay home. She wants to defend herself. Room falls silent. 50 faces turn. Hostile. She steps to microphone. I just want to say Mr. Ortega stands. You stole from us. Nothing to say. Booze. Shouts. Thief. Out. Carol flees. Tears streaming. Past glaring neighbors to her car. The HOA thought Carol was protecting them. Instead, she was robbing them. And when the truth came out, the entire community turned against her. 2 weeks after Carol's exposure, I was back at the house, hanging the final pieces of kitchen crown molding. The sawdust had settled, the air smelled like fresh paint and sawed oak. And for the first time in 18 months, I could work without looking over my shoulder for yellow violation notices. The neighborhood felt different. People waved when I drove up. Guys I'd never spoken to stopped by with cold beers on Friday evenings. Sorry we didn't back you up sooner, they'd say, shaking their heads. Carol had us all scared. One Saturday morning, Nina Patel knocked on my front door, holding 2 to-go coffees from the bakery down the road. Steam curled from the lids. Marcus, she said, handing me one. I'm sorry I didn't help when Carol was harassing you. I should have said something sooner. I took the coffee, black, just how I like it. I get it, Nina. She had power. People were afraid to challenge her. Nina looked down the street where Carol's house sat dark and quiet. Not anymore. We stood there for a minute, sipping coffee, watching a moving truck pull away from Mr. Ortega's place down the block. The air felt lighter, like the whole subdivision exhaled. Someone created a new Facebook group, Pinewood Estates Community Reel. No HOA board admins, no censorship. 500 members within 48 hours, nearly every household. The stories poured out. The Garcia's 2 houses down. Carol fined us $500 for a backyard trampoline? Said it was an eyesore visible from common areas. We had 3 kids under 10. We paid because we couldn't afford to fight Mr. and Mrs. Thompson across the street. Called code enforcement on our vegetable garden. Said raised beds violated landscaping standards. Took 3 months and $800 in legal fees to clear it. Jennifer Chang. David knew about irregularities, but was too scared to confront her. He takes full responsibility now. Pattern emerged fast. Carol targeted single moms too tired to fight. Immigrants afraid of authority. Elderly folks on fixed incomes. Anyone who challenged her got buried in violation notices until they complied, paid, or moved. I wasn't her first victim, just the first. Who fought back and won. The apologies came personally, too. Mr. Ortega stopped by with a 6-pack. Saw you dealing with her nonsense for a year? Should have spoken up. The Garcias brought tamales. You stood up for all of us. Even Lisa Murphy, the retired teacher who'd rubber-stamped Carol's fines, left a card in my mailbox. Deeply sorry. For my part, thank you for your courage. I realized something sitting on the porch that week, beer sweating in my hand. This wasn't just about my driveway anymore. Carol Brennan had terrorized Pinewood Estates for 9 years. I tore down her fence. It started the dominoes falling. Mid-July, I ran into Tom Brennan at the hardware store. Lumber aisle, who was buying. Paint-neutral beige, the kind Carol would have approved. I had oak plywood for cabinets. He saw me, froze, then nodded. Marcus Tom. He glanced around, lowered his voice. I'm sorry about what Carol did. I knew she was obsessive, but I didn't know she was stealing. You stayed quiet when she parked across my driveway, I said. Cops had to make her move. Tom winced. I know. I should have stopped her. I didn't. That's on me. Why not? He set down the paint can. Because she's my wife. And I was a coward. 2 weeks later, divorce papers filed. Tom rented a 2-bedroom apartment across town. Kept the house and the settlement marital property. Clean title. Carol got half the equity. Nothing else. August 2025, Carol took the plea deal. County courthouse, Friday morning. Misdemeanor fraud, guilty plea. Judge was fair, but firm. $47,300 restitution to Pinewood Estates. HOA, 2 years probation, 200 hours community service, no further HOA involvement statewide, criminal record permanent. No prison time, first offense, full repayment, cooperation. But she'd carry convicted felon for life. No more HOA presidency. No more power to pay restitution. Carol liquidated everything. Lexus SUV. Sold Honda Civic now. Jewelry gone. Investment accounts drained. IRA tapped. She moved 30 minutes away to a 1-bedroom apartment over a nail salon. Rent, $1,100 a month. Her adult daughters, mid-30s, professionals in Richmond, stopped calling. Too embarrassed, too angry. Carol's old friends ghosted her. No more. Coffee dates. No book club. She was alone. September 2025, I finished the renovation. Kitchen transform quartz counters. Stainless appliances. Subway tile backsplash. Soft close cabinets. Master bath gleamed walk-in shower. Double vanity heated floors. Guest baths updated. Fresh gray paint the color Carol hated. Hardwood. Floors refinished. New roof. Fresh landscaping. House looked incredible. Shore ready. I walked through it one last time, work boots echoing. Proud doesn't cover it. I'd poured 18 months, 80 grand in materials, 20,000 in legal. Fees into this place? Listed at $465,000. Multiple offers within a week. Settled at $460,000 cash, no contingencies. Profit after renovation costs, legal fees, realtor commission, $130,000. Not the $150,000 I'd projected, but substantial. It's worth every penny. The new HOA board, Jim Ramirez, engineer, Nina Patel, nurse, Mr. Ortega, retiree, moved fast. First meeting, they posted 5 years of financials online. Clean books. No more secrets. Architectural reviews streamlined. Proved colors expanded, gray now standard. Reasonable restrictions only. Violation notices required full board vote. 3 signatures, minimum. No more solo tyranny. Quarterly community meetings. Homeowners got a voice. First one, packed road maintenance, snow removal, pool upgrades, cactual community issues. Pinewood. Estates breathed again. Week before closing, Nina invited me to dinner. Her husband grilled steaks, kids ran around the backyard, neighborhood feel I'd never experienced under Carol. You stood up to her when no one else would, Nina said over corn on the cob. You changed this place. Yeah. I just wanted to finish my renovation, I said. You did more? Her husband raised his beer. You showed people they don't have to accept bullies. Looked around their yard. Trampoline in the corner. Vegetable garden by the fence. No violation notices, yeah. I did more. October 2025, closing day. County Courthouse Annex. I signed the stack warranty deed, settlement statement, disclosures. New owners, Jake and Emily, young couple, first house, beaming. Love what you did with it, Jake said, shaking my hand. Kitchen's perfect. They walked out holding hands. I drove away with a check for $130,000 and a clean conscience. Sitting in my truck that night, engine idling, I reflected. Fighting Carol cost me time, money, stress, weekends in court instead of working. 15 grand in legal fees before the lawsuit, 20 total. Sleepless nights wondering if she'd lien the property. Exhausting, but worth it. Not just for me, for the Garcias with their trampoline, the Thompsons with their garden, Nina too scared to speak up. For 50 households paying Carol's administrative fees, her removal made Pinewood Estates better, healthier. Free. I started the engine. Next foreclosure waited in the next county. But this one? I'd miss it a little. The community that once feared. Carol Brennan now celebrated her removal. I became the guy who took down the HOA tyrant. All because I refused to let her block my driveway. April 2026. 6 months after Carol Brennan's fall. Marcus Reed's F250 rumbles through Pinewood Estates, windows down, spring air thick with fresh-cut grass. He's headed to Nina Patel's for a neighborhood barbecue, his first real invitation since the dust settled. The subdivision hums with normalcy. Kids on bikes, lawnmowers, droning. A pool party echoing from the clubhouse. He slows past his old flip house at 847 Oakmont Drive. Jake and Emma, the young couple who bought it, added professional landscaping boxwoods. Lining the walkway, river rock mulch, solar lights glowing along the driveway. The gray paint he fought for gleams in the sun. No fence scars. No violation notices. Just a thriving family home. Across the street, Tom Brennan's house sits immaculate. Trimmed hedges, fresh mulch. Tom's truck in the driveway, fishing gear in. The bed, no white Lexus. No HOA polo shirts drying on the line. Pinewood Estates breathes free under its new board reasonable rules. Transparent books. Zero tolerance for tyrants. Carol Brennan unlocks her one-bedroom apartment above the nail salon. 30 minutes from the neighborhood she once ruled, part-time. Retail at Walmart. Minimum wage. Name tag pinned crooked. Probation officer checks in monthly random home visits, bank account audits. She's isolated. No friends return calls. Her daughters text birthday greetings only, nothing more. Estranged court-mandated therapy fills Thursday evenings. Dr. Petal ironically, same last name as Nina, probes, gently. Why the control, Carol? The fines? The fence? Carol stares at her. Hands? I wanted respect, uniformity, pride in our community. Power, Dr. Patel corrects. Validation? You couldn't let go. Carol nods, tears falling. Therapy peels back layers, insecurity masked as authority. Petty grudges nursed into vendettas. One evening, Carol sits alone on her thrift store couch, microwave dinner cooling on the coffee table, as she replays it all. It started innocently wanting Pinewood Estates to look sharp, property values high. Ored lawns, tasteful paint, order, then power crept in. Violation notices as weapons. Fines as tribute. Board meetings her stage, Marcus Reed, the foreclosure auction stung. She'd planned that flip herself profit, prestige. He outbid her cold, so she targeted him. Paint-colored truck, dumpster. Escalated to the fence, petty revenge snowballed. Invoices started small, administrative fees for her time grew to shell companies. 47,000 vanished. Marcus fought back. Lawsuit, discovery. David cracked. Audit exposed everything. She destroyed herself. One illegal fence post at a time. Tom Brennan rebuilt fast. Dating Janet, the town librarian, bookish kind. No drama. Weekends fishing, no HOA politics. We stayed in the Pinewood House divorce settlement, gave him clear title. Active HOA member now, not bored. Voice in meetings, not ruler. His stepdaughter's querels, girls forgave him. Weekend visits resumed. You did the right thing. Staying quiet at the end, the older said. You let justice happen. Tom nodded, enabling ends where cowardice breaks. David Chang serves as HOA treasurer, oversight committee watching every decimal. Lesson learned, speak up early. Homeowners forgave him whistleblower status, bought grace. He sleeps better. Marriage stronger. Marcus and Nina evolved into platonic friends. She hosts barbecues. He brings ribs from his new smoker. Married life suits, Nina husband promoted, kids thriving. Marcus, next foreclosure waits. In Loudoun County, no HOA this time, he learned. Bullies crumble under scrutiny. Stand firm, no rights. Property sacred. Jake and Emma love 847 Oakmont. Mid-30s, first home, nursery painted for their coming baby. Nina shares the story. Over fence chat.
Ow.
The guy who renovated this took down a corrupt HOA president. Jake pauses, leaf blowing, seriously. Yep, Marcus reads a legend around here. Emma smiles from the porch. Makes this house extra special. Late afternoon grocery run. Marcus rounds the cereal aisle at Food Lion. Carol freezes mid-reach for off-brand oatmeal. Their eyes meet. Her face crumples. Guilt, shame, words unsaid, apology, explanation. Nothing forms. Marcus nods once, neutral. Cart rolls past. No words, no drama. He's moved on. She hasn't. Pinewood Estates thrives. Property values stable. Marcus's. Ruinous gray house sold high. Comps strong. Homeowners happier. Online financials monthly. Board votes public. Violations rare and justified. Quarterly potlucks replace emergency meetings. Carol's reign. Cautionary tale at barbecues. Remember when she blocked driveways? Stole dues? One contractor ended it. Marcus drives away from Nina's barbecue truck bed empty. Tank full of brisket and laughter. Rearview mirror frames Pinewood. Fading Tom's house. Shrinking. 847 Oakmont's lights winking on. 18 months. 20,000 in legal fees. Sleepless nights. Fence dust still gritty in memory. But victory total. Not just lawsuit cash. Profit. Check peace. Property rights defended. Dignity intact. He freed 50 families from tyranny. Worth every hammer swing. Court filing. Ignored threat. Highway hums. Phone buzz. His new client. Marcus Reed. Construction. Mr. Reed. Fairfax foreclosure. 3-bed ranch. Solid bones. You interested? Numbers. 75K buying. Comps 400 after work. Details flow. Marcus smiles. Does the property have an HOA? Client laughs. Nope. Clean title. Perfect. I'll take it. Carol Brennan blocked Marcus's driveway with a fence, thinking she could bully him into submission. She didn't know he had the tools to tear it down literally and figuratively. Didn't know he'd fight back? She didn't know fighting back would expose her crimes and destroy her reign. The HOA thought they protected their community, but they shielded a thief. When truth emerged, Carol's empire collapsed, all because she refused to let him park his truck in his own driveway. Marcus's work truck barrels into sunset. License plate, contractor. Pinewood Estates shrinks in the rear view. Freedom.